Disease, solar flares, earthquakes, famine, climate change, murderous dictators. We live in a world that is in a constant state of change. But should we live our lives in fear? Can we quell that fear with a certain amount of preparedness? There is a group of individuals who would answer, yes. You might call them survivalists, preppers, backwoods types. We've all heard of doomsday preppers, the people we see on TV hiding out in a bunker out in the desert somewhere, storing food by the tons and convinced that the end is right around the corner. But in reality, most of them live ordinary, everyday, productive lives with normal jobs and a family. But how much is too much? Where do we cross the line from prepared to paranoid?
When you do tell people, the first thing that they will say to you is, well, I know where I'm going if trouble ever starts, and you just have to look at them and say, like, no.
We sat down with a prepper who would only agree to being on camera if we disguised his face and voice. Why are you concerned about anonymity?
The whole point of doing this is that when something happens, something goes down, you're ready for it. Most people are not. People who know you know that you're ready for it. They think you're gonna help them. That's the last thing I'm gonna wanna do. If you had a bunker with, supplies for 100 people and you can tell everybody to come, and people with families do have, enough for their families, obviously, and they're thinking about that, but that's what makes it difficult to talk about.
The world of prepping is a complicated one. A lot of people with a serious interest in emergency preparedness might shudder at the sensationalized portrayal of preppers we're so used to seeing in the media. Christopher Nyerges, by all accounts, has the kind of skills and knowledge you'd expect from a prepper. He's been practicing outdoor survival skills for decades and has written many books on the subject. Unlike our anonymous prepper, however, Christopher practices what he calls a minimalist approach to survivalism. But even he would distance himself from the survivalist label.
Every time there was somebody talking about survival, it wasn't about national issues. It wasn't about inflation, it wasn't about medical problems, it wasn't about economic problems, it wasn't about lack of food. It was about some nut who's going to shoot you for his beans.
Yeah.
And so I quickly distanced myself from the word survivalist.
Yeah.
But I do teach outdoor survival skills, and basically the skills that I teach really fall more into the category of self-reliance. I mean, if you're in the woods and you can take care of yourself, this is what Native Americans did. They weren't surviving, this was everyday life. My survival can't possibly just be me. Even in a tribal society, the intelligent ones realized that their well-being and their survival depended on their relationship with all the people that can do things that they cannot do well.
If you go back 50 or 60 years ago, it's not unusual for families to be heavily prepared. It's I think it's a side effect of the culture that we're living in that you need to even think about it. If you go all the way back to when people mostly lived on farms or grew their own food, the preparedness was number one on their list of priorities all the time.
Just for daily preparedness, they had to provide for themselves.
Yes, and you had to make it through the winter when your crops weren't coming, so you would think ahead about all those things. But now we just
have everything handed to us.
Yeah, you just assume that you're going to be able to go to 7-Eleven and grab whatever you need, and if you're stranded somewhere and you need to get food, and the other thing people think is you're going to be able to look on your cell phone and figure out how to kill and skin a rabbit. You're not gonna have that cell phone. The very first thing I have right here when I open this up is a Leatherman, which is the first thing you should have.
Every prepper has what they call a bug-out bag, an easily accessed collection of survival essentials for when shit hits the fan.
So I have two firearms in this bag. There's a Glock 23, which is a smaller version of a .40 caliber Glock. The ammo for that's very heavy, so I only carry 20 rounds, but that is only for if another human is trying to attack me.
Yeah, that's not for hunting, that's protection.
Or a bear. When you're all by yourself and you get lonely, it's good to have friends.
Are these retro?
You never know. Whatever that means to you, the end is near. I always like people to put things again in context. The Japanese had their end is near in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where you were just incinerated. That was the end. The Cherokee had their end is near with the Trail of Tears, where a third of the nation died. So I know a variety of people. Some of them believe that the answer is firearms, lots and lots of firearms and lots of ammo, and being able to reload. They have their point. I know other people who it's an obsession to the point that they're not living life fully now.
The joke I always make is I invest a lot in prepping supplies, but I invest an equal amount in the stock market because maybe this works, you know?
I find that when you cater to the sensationalist, it might be good for advertisers to advertise your show, but for the actual viewer to get something practical, it's all but just not there.
Yeah.
Is it really likely? Maybe. It'll totally change your way of life instantly if it happens. But should we put all of our eggs into one basket?
The old saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, feels especially poignant here. But there's another saying, ignorance is bliss. Where do you land?